Ag Tire Talks Driving Yield Through Tire Technology, sponsored by Michelin Agriculture.
James Husher with Ag Tire Talk here. I'm with Greg Gillen, the Vice President of Agriculture for Maxam Tire International. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, James. How are you, sir?
Good, good. So, implement tires, one of my favorites. Always like to do an article about once a year on implement tire trends. A couple of offerings I've been frankly just waiting for. I knew you were going to develop these. They're so popular. Great to see them with some wonderful features and benefits. The VF implement tires, they're MS963R RowXtras. You've got two sizes here. You've got a 245 70R19.5 145D and a VF295 75R22.5 154D. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but these are all planter application tires. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this is our next generation solution. We've seen over the last 5 to 10 years a fast uptake on radial implements. As
Yes.
you know, for many years, the industry has I would argue struggled with the fact that production machinery have gone to all radial solutions, low air pressure, and we're still pulling these implement tires, bias implement tires at very, very high pressure, which in the end, you're pulling a brick behind your machine. So whatever compaction savings you have on your pulling machine, your towed machine is kind of dragging it behind you. So over the last 5 to 10 years, as we've continued to monitor the market, we've seen a fast uptake of the radialization rate. So Maxam made the decision well over 2 years ago, and we're finally coming to market with the first of 18 sizes that we're
18
going to
sizes.
bring in this RowXtra product line to begin to address a high speed, high load, low air pressure VF technology that can deliver the value, results, and performance and reduce soil compaction, which is ultimately the objective of the farmer, so we can increase yields. Understanding that planetary population is growing and we have to grow food faster, more efficiently. So if that little bit that we do on that implement lowers compaction, which increases that farmer's yield, that's not only money for him, but it's also food for the planet. So it's a great technological leap.
And that's a great point. I want to bring up, so just to give our listeners a little bit of history on this tire, these planters have had the same basic size that we did 11/22/5s for years, right? And they
Correct.
were very high compaction bias, okay? Not only were they bias, but they were not VF technology. So what we're doing with this is enabling 40% reduction in air pressure. We all know air pressure is one of the biggest drivers of soil compaction. This is a massive decrease in soil compaction, Greg.
Absolutely. And without compromising the carrying capacity. So in the case of these first two sizes, these are going to be steel casing and steel belted, which limits a little bit of the flexing. But by having the technology and the steel belts, it allows us to lower the pressure where we need it to be to reduce compaction, carry the load without compromising, call it the value equation that we want the tire to deliver in terms of soil compaction without giving up the traction. That's the advantage of the steel. And as you know, exactly as you put it, we've seen farmers go back and forth, farmers and growers go back between running either truck tires or running
Yes.
bias tires at very, very high air pressure. So if we can provide that tire solution that gives them the footprint, the traction, the lower compaction without compromising any of those features, they win and we win.
Right. All with not the high load carrying capacity and also a high speed too. All D speed rated to 40 miles per hour should be able to handle anything, any tractors that you got pulling to within that speed limit. So really great to see that. So these are going to be all steel casing. Now you're going to develop that MS963R RowXtra implement line, VF implement radial line. How many sizes again was that going to be?
By the time we finish both phases, there'll be 18 sizes, and depending on market condition, we may even add some more. There's a few sizes there that nobody has radialized. So we're actually looking at bias sizes, some few sizes there that we're going to create a new radial solution for. And we're going to call it's a VF. We're going straight to VF technology rather than going around going collecting 200. We're just going to go straight to it and
Love it.
let's develop the right technology. And in some of those smaller sizes, it may be a nylon belt with steel belts, depending on the level of flexibility and deflection that we need on the product to carry, so that we don't kind of catch ourselves having a tire that doesn't flex and doesn't deliver the solution that we need it to do. So I leave that in the capable hands of our engineering team, but that's kind of the approach that we're taking.
Totally makes sense. So really just for our listeners, what Greg is saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is to say, hey, on certain applications, you need an all steel carcass, right? Because you got a limited air chamber, you got a lot of weight and a lot of speed and the like. However, in some applications, you have a little bit larger air chamber, provides you a little bit more flexibility. We can get a little bit more deflection or allow that tire to go and get a larger footprint. So we'll maybe do a nylon carcass with a steel belt in those particular applications, whatever suits the application best, bottom line. Is that correct, Greg?
Exactly. That is exactly, you nailed it on the head. That's exactly the approach we're taking, which, as much as we all want to say all tires are the same, they're not.
No.
And in this case, part of the challenge for us is how do we tailor a solution that can deliver to the expectation of the customer, but also at the same time have the wherewithal to be able to deliver that solution long term, right? It's a product that we're going to design to be capable of doing what it needs to do for the next 10 years. If we can create the right size, we've already solved the problem for the OEMs. Now we're creating the technology that allows them to continue to add load to that machine, to that model, without changing the tire size, but be able to flex with the air pressure and deliver the expectation they're seeking.
Well, I love the approach. That's a wrap on the VF implement tire, the MS963R RowXtra. Can't wait to see it out in the marketplace when it's all the sizes are released. And that's a wrap. Thanks again.
Thank you, James. Yeah, I look forward to bringing it to market in Louisville here in 2026.
Excellent. Thanks again.